Hello and welcome to the Wayne State Coaches Show, an exclusive on MyWayneNews.com. I'm Mike Carnes, your host for all things Wayne State here on The Big Show. We will talk with Jeff Kaminsky, Wayne State men's basketball coach, about the Wildcats' efforts at Augustana on Saturday. We'll also talk with Wayne State women's basketball coach Brent Polerai about the Wildcats' first conference game of the season up in Augie. And Marlon Brink will be stopping by as well to talk about the Wayne State indoor track team's first outing of the season up at South Dakota State. We'll have all that and more on this week's edition of the Wayne State Coaches Show. We're going to take a time out and come back and talk with Jeff Kaminsky about the Wildcats' efforts against Augustana right after this timeout on the Wayne State Coaches Show.
The Coaches Show is sponsored by Pack and Save. Pack and Save is a proud supporter of Wildcat Athletics and is your one-stop shop for savings. Check out Pack and Save's excellent produce and find the best cuts in their grade A meat department. Be sure to stop at the Top Notch Deli where you can find their amazing fried chicken, daily lunch specials, and all the fixings for your next tailgate or viewing party. Pack and Save is open from 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week, and their staff is waiting to help you for all of your grocery needs. Pack and Save, your one-stop shop for savings in Wayne, America. Go Cats!
We're back on the Wayne State Coaches Show, and with us Coach Jeff Kaminsky, Wayne State men's basketball coach, to talk about the basketball team. Good start to the conference season for the first time since 2010. The Wildcats go up to Augustana and get a W. The Wildcats beating Augustana 65-54. Were able to really hold off Augustana in the second half. Augustana was able to get within a point on a couple occasions, but the Wildcats used a 10-0 run late in the game to put the game out of reach. And Coach, anytime you go on the road and get a win in this conference, it's a good thing, but getting a win at Augustana is a really good thing, especially considering the recent history that Wayne State has had up there.
Yeah, really well said. I think our league is so challenging to win on the road, and so to get the year started with a road win and then to magnify that being at Augustana was a special way to start the league. You know, we a lot of respect for their program. They've had a great, they're a couple years removed from winning a national championship, and they have a lot of talent, so we knew it'd be a tough challenge, and Coach Biller does such a great job with how they run offense. So for us to go up there and hold them to 54 points, we did some really good things defensively.
Yeah, I thought you guys played really well, particularly when they were able to kind of bounce back and get things close there toward the end. You guys did a really good job of stepping up and shutting them down those last 4 or 5 minutes of that game.
Yeah, that was the key. We made some big shots. I think they had cut it to 1, and Kendall hit a 3 there to give us a little separation, and then Tate Jackson hit a big 3 there during that stretch, and then Nick Farini hit a big 3 down the stretch to kind of separate the game a little bit. But the biggest key there we were getting stops, so they weren't able to match us at that point in time, and really allowed us to to take a really, really close game that could have went either way and separate. So that's a good sign to get stops down the stretch and give yourself a chance to win a big game on the road.
Yeah. Vance Jansen, Kendall Jackson led the way for Wayne State. They had 16 and 15 points respectively. Nick Ferrarini and Jordan Jansen each had 11 points, and Jansen with another double-double. He gets 11 rebounds in that ball game, and Jordan just continues to impress for somebody as young as he is. He's just really stepped up and become a dominant force inside for you already this season.
Yeah, he's just gotten more comfortable with what he's doing. I know early on we thought maybe he'd rebound more for us because he's such a competitive kid, and now it's sort of starting to come together. I think he has 37 rebounds in the last 3 games, and he's a hard guy to keep off the glass just because he's a smart kid. He understands angles and competes, and that's really a big thing with him, is just he competes every possession. So but I like our balance, and you mentioned I think all 5 of our starting group there contributed, and we've had really good production off the bench. It just became a little bit lower scoring game on Saturday.
It's kind of neat to see you getting 4 and 5 guys in double figures. It really shows the balance this team is capable of playing with, and really it makes it kind of difficult for a team to really key on one guy. Whereas in last year too, if you stopped Kendall Jacks, that was pretty much it. And this year you really got 4 or 5 guys that can get up there and get in double digits and make it hard for somebody to focus on one player.
Yeah, for sure, and we just need to embrace that. I think there's a lot of teams that are really, really good that maybe have 1 or 2 guys that seem like they're consistently scoring a ton for them, and we can have our leading scorer not have a great game and not affect us a whole lot, because as you said, I think we have a lot of balance. I think we have balance not just in terms of a number of guys that can score, but I think we have balance in terms of how we score, inside, outside, drive, transition, and that to me makes us a little tougher to guard. We didn't really shoot the ball that well on Saturday, and they didn't, and I think both teams have to give some credit to defensively for that. But when we shoot well, we feel like we should be able to open up games, and fortunately we made some timely shots on Saturday, but hopefully we'll shoot the ball a little bit better this weekend, or it's really going to be tough to win on the road.
Yeah, Wildcats are 6-1 now on the season. Their best start in quite some time to start the year, 6-1, 1-0 in the conference. And as Coach said, a couple of tough games coming up this weekend. Upper Iowa on Friday, and then Winona State on Saturday. And both places are tough places to play, and both teams play very well on their home floor.
They do, and we lost both those games last year and didn't compete very well at the end of the year at Winona, who's I think has a chance to compete for the league this year. And Upper Iowa has just been a tough nemesis for us. We have some guys that are seniors who have never beaten Upper Iowa. So we have our plate full this weekend, and we're looking forward to getting ready for it during the week here.
Yeah, a couple of road trips this past 2 weeks, and fortunately next week you get a little home cooking next week, and so hopefully we can come home with some good things to talk about.
Yeah, we will, and it's amazing, but we're road trip and then a home weekend, and we're basically at that halfway point with Christmas break coming up. So these next 2 weeks are very important from the standpoint of kind of establishing ourselves early in the conference race, and not having to dig ourselves out of a hole to try to climb in that upper half of the league. So it was a great way to start the year, but big challenges ahead of us for sure.
You bet. Wildcats, as we said, on the road this weekend. Upper Iowa Friday evening, and then Winona State on Saturday at 5:30. Coach, good luck this week, and hopefully we have a couple wins to talk about next week.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll take a time out and have more here on the Wayne State Coaches Show right after this timeout. We're back on the Wayne State Coaches Show here on MyWayneNews.com, and time to talk with Coach Brent Polari about the Wayne State women's basketball team. They kicked off the Northern Sun Conference portion of their schedule on Saturday evening, and went up to Sioux Falls and played pretty well, but came up short in an 81-73 decision on Saturday. Wildcats got off to a slow start, but were able to actually get an 11-point lead at some point in the second quarter, and led by 4 at the intermission. And we're actually playing pretty well for most of the game, and then Augustana came back in the second half and put it together. Coach, I know we were talking beforehand that Augustana got hot from the outside there at one point in the game and really kind of turned the game around for them.
Yeah, we started off the game slow. We knew they were going to try to get the pace going fast, and we turned it over quite a bit. Missed some shots, got down 13-3 in the first quarter, and then came back and got up 11 in the second, and we're playing really well. Third quarter came out, and that's where I think they hit 3 back-to-back shots, 3-pointers that got them back in the game. And then it was a dogfight from there. 4.5 minutes left, we were tied, and then they made a couple mistakes. They hit a 3, and we ended up fouling, and it ends up being an 8-point game. But it was pretty much a one-possession game right there at the end.
You had to feel pretty good about the way the girls played, going on the road to play an Augustana team that has traditionally been very, very successful, particularly the last few years. To go up there with your situation was still getting people back from injuries, but came back and played a pretty good game.
Yeah, we had Brittany back for the first time. Hasn't really practiced, so we played her in about 3-minute spurts a little bit there, and we actually pulled a red shirt off of Amelia Ivester, and she came in, I think 12 minutes, got 9 rebounds in 12 minutes, probably had about 4 or 5 block shots. They don't get all the stats right with that, but so we've had a little bit more depth here, but it's people that haven't really played, and that kind of you could see at the end when we're trying to run some sets and some stuff where we don't exactly know the play or aren't as confident as we would be if we've been had a little bit more experience there, I think.
Yeah. Some good ball distribution too. Haley Busey had 8 assists. Kylie Hammer had 4 in that game. Good to see two ball handlers move the ball around that well.
Yeah, they both did a good job. Again, Augie gets up and they trap all over the place, and so they try to get the ball out of your guard's hands. But they did a good job of creating and leading people to scores.
Yeah. Brittany Bogart's playing her first game since coming off injury. Ended up with 15 points. Vesey and Aaron Norland each added 14 points in that ball game. So the Wildcats fall to 4-2 on the year, 0-1 in conference play. Get a chance to get a couple wins this weekend. A couple of tough tests on the road. Upper Iowa on Friday and Winona State on Saturday. It'll be kind of an interesting game on Friday because Kelly Kilsmeyer, who was an assistant coach for his brother Chris here up until this past season, is now an assistant coach there at Upper Iowa. So I'm sure it'll be a kind of an interesting game there. And then Winona State, always tough on the road.
Yeah. So Upper Iowa with Kelly there, guess what they're running? Same 2-3 zone they ran here, same offense they ran here. So that's interesting to kind of see that stuff there. And then Winona's good. They're playing well. They're going to be tough at home like they always are. Last year, I think we beat them by 40 here. Went to their place on the road and lost by 1 in overtime, or maybe it wasn't overtime, just lost by 1. But yeah, so that'll be a good test. But both those teams are playing well, and a couple different styles to play again.
Yeah, and a good opportunity for you guys to play 2 more games on the road, kind of toughen things up a little bit for you guys. You'll get a home weekend coming up here next weekend, but it'll be a good opportunity to see where you're at after this.
Yeah, you're very optimistic. I like that. It's a good chance to toughen us up. Yeah, it is. But no, we're getting better and we're learning, and we're trying to gear up and tune up, fine tune all the stuff that we're learning. And you play Augustana, and we try to learn from it and get better and be able to adjust so that our next game we're a little better and try to get better every game.
All right. Well, Wildcats, as you said, on the road this weekend. Upper Iowa Friday evening at 5:30, and then Winona State on Saturday at 3:30 in the afternoon. Coach, good luck this week, and hopefully we've got a win or two to talk about next week.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take a time out and have more here on the Wayne State Coaches Show right after this timeout. We're back on the Wayne State Coaches Show here on MyWayNews.com, and time to talk indoor track and field with Coach Marlon Brink. The Wildcats opening their season with the South Dakota Holiday Open up in Brookings, South Dakota on Friday. Wildcats had actually 3 NCAA provisional marks on the day. Cade Kalkowski and Dylan Kopp both recording NCAA provisional marks in the weight throw, and Mackenzie Schill also reaching an NCAA provisional mark in the weight throw. So a good start to the season, and get three kids who get on the board for the NCAA indoors then.
Yeah, it's nice to have a good start like that for those guys. It was personal best for all 3 of them, and yeah, exciting way to start the season, like you said.
Yeah, Cade finished with 63 feet 0 1/4 inches, placed 4th overall in the event, and Dylan Kaup was 11th at 57.10 1/4. And then in the women's side there, Mackenzie placed 7th with a toss of 58 feet 3 inches. Those were the kind of the highlights for the event, but there were some good finishes here as well. Mikhail Sands was 6th in the long jump for the men at 21.8 1/4, and Jaden Wagner finishing 9th in the girls shot put at 43.5 1/4. Were kind of some of the highlights there, and I guess were some other things you saw out of the meet Saturday.
Well, our throwers as a whole, I thought, had a good weekend. Like you said, you highlighted some of the top ones, but on the weight throw, I think everybody hit a personal best there on the weekend for them, so that was good to see. Mikey in the long jump there, Mikey Sands, he's a freshman this year, and actually, overall, we had a very young group that we took up there. I was looking at the results after the meeting. Of the 31 athletes that competed, 14 of them were freshmen, or first time competing for Wayne State. So, we just had a very young group, and it's good to get that experience out. It's part of what we were looking for at that meet, was to get that first meet jitters out of the way and kind of see where we're at. Some of the others that I thought did well, on the women's side, Jordan Pester had a very good run in the 400-meter dash. 58.6, I believe, was her time there. And she's got a lot of potential, I think, to have a very good season this year in the 200 and the 400. Looking to see some more good things from her. Molly Vaso is another one that ran a pretty good time for her first 400-meter dash in college. So it was good to see those kids do well. And I think, as we go into Christmas break here, that kind of gave them a good idea of where they're at. It was a tough meet. There was several Division I teams there. Besides South Dakota State, you had the University of North Dakota, University of South Dakota. Both those teams are solid teams as well. Several Division II and NAIA schools were there as well. So overall, it's probably the most competitive this meet has been in, I think, the 5 years they've hosted this meet up there. And so, it wasn't an easy meet. Like, for example, Dylan Kaup not making the finals with his mark. It was kind of a surprise, but that just shows the quality of the competition up there. And so, it was good to get that under our belts right away.
Now, the Wildcats won't be back in action until January 12th. They'll compete in the Doan Invitational in Crete on January 12th, and it's kind of a long stretch of no competition for you guys there. So I don't know, is it hard for them to kind of get back in the swing of things after that long of a layoff?
Well, a little bit. We'll continue to train the rest of this week. This is study week here at the college. Next week is finals week, so we'll keep them till the end of next week, and then they go home for about 2 weeks. They'll come back on January 2nd. We'll get about 5 days of practice in before second semester classes start there on January 7th. And then we've got that full week of training there going into the Doan meet. So it is kind of a layoff, but that's kind of how this college schedule works. There just aren't many meets going on for the rest of this December month, and then starting off in January, there's really maybe one weekend you could get something in, but if you've only got a couple days of practice in your belt, it's kind of pointless to go there. So we'll train through that first January 2nd to 7th week there, and then get back into it the following.
And you'll have everybody involved at that Doan meet. Then your distance runners will have come off of cross country and will be ready to roll. And
Yep. They've had a little bit of a breakdown, so they're getting back into getting their mileage in. Unfortunately, the snow's kind of hampered that a little bit, but we're still going to get outside as much as we can and get their mileage in, because that's important for them to go into the season with having a good base for the track season there.
Yeah, running in this stuff, that takes a supreme level of dedication.
Well, yeah, right now it's not the safest. So we're actually going to be training inside for a few days here, but hopefully the roads clear off a little bit in the next couple days, and then get back outside and keep getting their mileage in over the month of December here.
All right, well, have yourselves a good holiday, and I guess we'll be talking to you sometime in January then.
You bet. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, we'll take time out and have more here on the Wayne State Coaches Show right after this time out.
The Coaches Show is sponsored by Pack and Save. Pack and Save is a proud supporter of Wildcat Athletics and is your one-stop shop for savings. Check out Pack and Save's excellent produce and find the best cuts in their Grade A meat department. Be sure to stop at the Top Notch Deli, where you can find their amazing fried chicken, daily lunch specials, and all the fixings for your next tailgate or viewing party. Pack and Save is open from 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week, and their staff is waiting to help you for all of your grocery needs. Pack and Save, your one-stop shop for savings in Wayne, America. Go Cats!
We're back on the Wayne State Coaches Show, tying things up for another edition. A couple of quick notes to pass along. The Wayne State junior linebacker Tyler Thompson was named to the Conference Commissioners Association All-Super Region 4 football team this past weekend. He was named to the second team as a linebacker on the All-Star team. The award is voted on by sports information directors in a region that includes the Northern Sun Conference, the Great Northwest Athletic Conference, the Lone Star Conference, and the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. So congratulations to Tyler on that. Also, congratulations to a group of 47 student athletes here at Wayne State College who were named to the 2018 Northern Sun Conference Fall All-Academic Team. The announcement was made this past week, and in order to make the team, you have to have at least a 3.60 cumulative grade point average of higher to make the team of excellence, and all academic team members must have at least a 3.20 GPA. Wayne State women's soccer team had the most selections for Wayne State with 14. Volleyball had 13, and football had 11. Men's cross country had 5 honorees, and women's cross country had 4 selections. The complete list of those names are available on the Wayne Herald website at mywaynenews.com, and will also be in this week's edition of the Wayne Herald. That'll do it for this week's edition of the Wayne State Coaches Show here on mywaynenews.com. Hope you have a good one, and hope that you get dug out from the snow that we had this past weekend. Until next week, this is Mike Carnes, and we'll see you later.